Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. BAM Weather, meteorologist Brett Waltz here, giving you a North and South Dakota forecast update on what is going to be a very busy day across the state today. I mean, guys, we've got widespread rain and thunderstorms right now across central and northern parts of North Dakota. This is continuing to push off to the north and to the east this morning. This is like the first initial warm front. No severe weather with this right now, but I do think that it can produce some decent rainfall rates as we work throughout the morning hours today, working towards the Minot area. Eventually, we'll work off to the northeast towards Devil's Lake and across South Dakota as well. We do have activity. I mean, for the most part, it's just some scattered showers and storms, but across all of central South Dakota, I think this morning you do have a threat of that scattered activity. It's not going to be super heavy or severe or anything like that, but I do think that it is something we have to deal with throughout the morning hours today. Now, if we go through here, I want to take a look. Let me back things up. We look at our simulated radar. We continue to push this off to the east throughout the morning hours today. I think that some rain and storms are possible into the eastern half of North Dakota, northeastern South Dakota as we work into the midday hours, as we work towards noon. Now, I still think that even it may be a little bit underdone here across South Dakota. I think that you have a chance of some scattered showers as we work into the early afternoon in these areas. And with that southwest flow aloft, you may just get the on and off showers, especially central and eastern South Dakota through a good part of the day today. Best chances of dry weather will be across western North Dakota, western South Dakota as we work into this afternoon. But as early as I would say 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I think that we start to develop some additional showers and storms, especially across western South Dakota. Now, I'm going to switch our radars here because I think this is going to be the best solution as we work into this afternoon. So again, take a look. This is just another look at this afternoon. This is 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. We've got the scattered shower and storm activity across eastern and central South Dakota. And then I think that our severe weather threat really begins to ramp up closer to 4 or 5. Initially, we'll have some supercells across western South Dakota. Probably low precipitation. They won't be a heavy rainfall, but it could produce some very large hail and damaging winds. This will begin to pick up as we work closer to 6, 7, and 8 o'clock across southwestern North Dakota, working into central South Dakota. Now, I'm going to circle an area here because I think that initially, as we develop supercells in this area, there could be a couple of tornadoes. I think that you can see some tornado warnings in these areas to go along with a very large hail threat. And then I think that as this line begins to work east, it will start to congeal. It will become more of a damaging wind threat, but hail and an isolated tornado still are possible into the central Dakotas. This is closer to 8 or 9 o'clock. And then as this system continues to push off to the east, becomes a little bit less organized closer to midnight. The severe threat will be lowering across eastern South Dakota, but some heavier rain into eastern South Dakota, eastern North Dakota is certainly possible into the overnight. And then I think into tomorrow morning, you could have maybe some scattered showers lingering around across eastern South Dakota. So as far as total precipitation here, as I mentioned, guys, western South Dakota especially could be low precipitation supercells. Won't put down a lot of rain, but it could put down some heavy or some large hail. Further off to the east, where your tornado threat is a little bit higher, and where you could have that line of storms move through, you could see locally a half an inch to an inch and a half, maybe an isolated 2-inch mark, especially here across northeastern South Dakota and southeastern North Dakota. Those will be the areas to watch for that. Here's a look at the current day one severe weather outlook. Again, I think that the highest threats are across western and central South Dakota and into southwestern North Dakota. I think that here, from Sturgis to Rapid City, maybe just west of Chamberlain, that's going to be your area with the largest hail threat. Just to the north of that here, this is where your largest tornado threat is going to be, with damaging wind threat throughout the duration of this event. As we work into tomorrow, we are going to have a part 2 of this severe weather outbreak. It's going to be further east. It'll be the eastern Dakotas, in this case, that will be in the bullseye. And I also think this comes with a very heavy rain threat, especially across eastern North Dakota. If we take a look at our sim radar here, initially we're going to develop some supercells into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, probably closer to 4 or 5 o'clock. I think that there is a pretty high risk right now that there could be a couple of tornadoes in this area. Right now, we're in an enhanced risk. I would not be shocked at all to see a moderate risk. I think that probably is likely at this point that that could happen. Now, again, initially, probably going to have a large hail and tornado threat. It will quickly congeal into a very strong line of storms closer to 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow. And I think that we could be dealing with some damaging winds as well as a couple of tornadoes along this line. This will continue to push off to the east into Minnesota. Could still have some locally severe threats. Again, tornadoes, hail, and wind as these storms continue to develop into tomorrow evening, but I think that the threat actually becomes more of a flash flooding and heavy rain threat as we work into the overnight hours tomorrow. So this is the area that I really want to pay attention to as storms develop tomorrow afternoon. This is 4 or 5 o'clock. I think that anywhere in the blue area has the potential to see a couple of large tornadoes. I do think that that is possible as things stand now, especially if you're in the blue area as storms initially develop tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at the day 2 severe weather threat and enhanced risk across northeastern South Dakota and eastern North Dakota, Jamestown, Aberdeen, Fargo, Grand Forks. You are all at play for this, and all modes of severe weather are on the table with this system. Here's a look at total rainfall. Again, I think that if you're in this area here, we need to keep a very close eye on an isolated flash flooding threat, but you can see in some of those heavier storms could easily put down 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. If we take a look at our temperatures today, I think that if you're in South Dakota, you could have temperatures 94 to 100 degrees across south central South Dakota today. It's going to be very hot. Tomorrow, that heat starts to expand a little bit east. It won't be as warm, but along that comes the severe weather threat. And so that is what we are seeing into tomorrow. Before we go, I want to note the winds. I think that we've got strong wind gusts today across the Dakotas, 35 to 45 miles an hour. This does shift a little bit off to the east tomorrow. It won't be quite as robust, but I still think that we've got some gusts of 35 to 40 tomorrow. And then beyond this system kind of lingers around into Monday. I want to very quickly touch on this because I think that additional storms and maybe an additional severe weather threat is possible late Monday with an additional heavy rain threat as well. And then you'll have Cristobal coming up into Minnesota off to our east as we work into your Tuesday. So here's a look at rainfall Monday into Tuesday. Could see some locally heavier totals of 1 inch to 2 inches with the wave on Monday. So guys, I know that's a lot to take in. I know it's a lot to talk about. If we need to, we'll do an update this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on the trends. If nothing's changed, we'll just monitor and we'll be available for questions. So guys, that's all I have for today's forecast. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great rest of your day.